Welcome to Spill the Tea. Today we're talking to Dini Steyn, an audiobook narrator who's done over 50 titles for ACX.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Josephine. Oh, I better put my volume a little bit lower. It's pretty high. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I've adjusted volume on my end.
Yeah, no, mine was pretty high because I was editing my audiobooks and then I usually do it fairly loud, Yeah.
Yep. Then you can hear all the background noise and whatnot, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
So, yes, this is very enterprising of you to do this. It's wonderful.
well, I thought it was another avenue to try and, get some publicity for people and
Yeah,
put some faces to the names and,
yeah.
hopefully, some people can gain some more fans and make a little more business that way, right?
Yeah, and the fact I know you're focusing on authors, but you
Mhm.
said it's okay. You would consider having a narrator on as well.
Well, absolutely. I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people would be interested to hear, the process and what you do and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so I think it's good and other authors might be interested in maybe
yeah.
getting your services.
Well, audiobooks are becoming so popular. I'm in this Facebook group called Friends in Fiction,
Yeah.
and the conversations about listening to audiobooks rather than reading or doing both is just incredible. It's really growing.
Oh, I do think so. I think it's definitely a growth industry at this point. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But we are very concerned about AI, of course.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever listened to one, but it's horrible. It's like
Oh, is it?
robotic and it's just not there. The emotion and you can just feel it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have like sometimes I'm an insurance broker full time, right? So sometimes I get on those calls and instead of having a person with a recorded message, they put an AI voice in
Yeah.
and it's so stilted.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, this, like, you just record somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do it. Just record
Just
somebody.
yeah, just give me a real person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing this for about probably 7 years.
Hmm.
Uh, in the past, I was doing a teacher and project manager, and I also sing in a choir, a really good choir. So that helps because it kind of helps you with your hearing and being able to hear the nuances and being very good at pronunciation, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then the other interesting thing about me, I guess, is that I speak quite a few languages because I was born in Holland, grew up in South Africa, now in Canada. So it's kind of German,
Another
Dutch.
Canadian.
Yeah, oh, you're Canadian. Yay. The Canadians are really moving it. In my little group, we have a little accountability group, and they're just wonderful, wonderful. So anyway, yes, so Dutch, German, a little bit of French and quite a bit of Spanish, and of course English. And then Afrikaans is what I speak at home. It's
Hmm.
my home language with my husband and my family and so on. But we've been in Canada more than 40 years, so of course it's very, very much more English than anything else. Yeah.
But
So
I would think that, having the cultural background and the language background would really help with pronunciations and finding, maybe accents for characters and stuff like that.
it helps and it hinders because people listen to me and they say, "Hey, you have an accent. You don't sound American. You don't sound quite right for the job." So the job I'm doing right now, I'm actually right for it because it's a historical novel about Europe called Red Vienna, and it's an absolutely wonderful book. And she wanted this, my ability to pronounce all those German words and even the whole lilt of the language is more European than Canadian or American. So that's working out very well.
That's
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
How about you? I want to know more about you.
Well, I write romance and cozy mysteries.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I've been doing that probably since I think 2018.
Okay.
taking it seriously, as seriously
Yeah.
as does. Um, I have a 10-book series with Ramsley Brothers, and then I'm working on a cozy mystery series called Camping Girl.
Oh,
The
that
fourth
sounds
one is
wonderful.
coming out in July, so that's going
Good.
to be a lot of fun. I have been narrating my own books. I'm terrible at the beginning. I admit I have to redo
Oh,
the
I feel
beginning
the
ones.
same. I feel the same. The first ones were not so good.
They're
Yeah,
not so good, no.
yeah,
But I've
yeah.
gotten better. I've learned to slow down, take my time with it,
Mhm,
you know, make sure that my background noise is not there.
mhm.
It takes time and a lot of practice, I found.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you learn, which is
Oh, yeah.
great. I
I've
think,
done a number of cozy mysteries. The one, Tika House Publishing, I've done about, oh, probably 10 of them,
oh,
mysteries
cool.
and romances, the mail order bride books and so on. And I've enjoyed that. But the trouble with narrating is there are literally millions of us, and
Hmm.
most of the people just do royalty share, and the books rarely sell enough to make any money whatsoever. I think my
Yeah.
total income last year was $800 or something. So that's pretty scary. But
Yeah.
it's I think if people are considering getting a narrator, they should at least think of doing royalty plus, which is you're still sharing the royalties, but you're getting a little bit of extra money to pay for your expenses, maybe hiring an
Hmm.
editor or somebody to master your tapes. Although most of us have all the equipment we have, I have a little sound booth. That's not where I am right now, but it's very well insulated and a good microphone. And you have a really good microphone there too, I can see. Yeah. So have you done audiobooks? Have any of your books been turned into audiobooks?
Yeah. So I did my own.
Oh, you did your
Um,
own.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I started doing them and I've been working through them. So I just thought, first of all, it can be expensive to hire narrators,
Oh,
but
yes.
if you want a good one, you're getting what you pay for,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Um, I don't sell enough to hire a narrator. I wish I did, otherwise my first ones wouldn't sound so awful. But yeah, yeah, I don't have like a little sound booth. I just have it here in my office and, I try to make sure everybody's quiet and,
Yes,
taken
yes.
care of and edit
Yeah.
things out. I think I saw on your website that you use Audacity.
Yes, I use Audacity and it's fine. It's very robust and I'm fine with that. But the one thing I do use is RX, Isotope RX. I don't know if you're familiar with
No,
that.
I'm not familiar with
It
that one.
is fantastic because it takes out all those mouth clicks.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Yeah.
de-esses a little bit, if you're too sibilant or you pop
Hmm.
too much and that sort of thing. And the other thing that would help you is just putting up some sound panels, just,
Hmm.
with I don't know, towels or something to absorb the sound. It's really wonderful. But I have my little, you know, I call it my padded room, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, one funny thing that I found is that I had to take the guitar off my wall.
There's this,
It reverberates back at me.
exactly. I'm not surprised. So you play guitar as well.
I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm
Oh,
very
that's
bad.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Do you have any questions to me about the process of narration?
Yeah. Well, first of all, how did you get interested in being a narrator in the first place?
I think I've been wanting to do it since I was a young girl. I said, I want to be on radio. I love using my voice, and that never came about. So after I retired from teaching, I decided, why not give this a go? And I started off doing German and Dutch and things like that because
Mhm.
they couldn't find narrators. And my German, even though I'm not a native speaker, is good enough for a language learning book and so on. So those books. But as I said, I cringe now. They're still out there, but they weren't very good because I was using just a little what do you call those little mics, USB mic and so
Yeah.
on. And you get better as the time goes on. So the ones I'm proud of, I suppose, are I love the mystery, not so much horror, but I love blood and gore. So it's the Sue Hinken, she wrote actually 5 of them, and I've done 3 of them, and they are wonderful. The Mermaid Broker, and I think that's the one I'll share with you. And she's a really good author. But again, it's the marketing. To what
Hmm.
extent do you have a really good marketer and your books get out there? Because I don't know, her books are so fantastic, and I'm not seeing her having huge, big sales. So
It's getting
that's
seen, right? That's the
I
hardest part.
know, and
It really is.
I don't like doing Instagram little videos and so on. I'm not willing to do that, and I don't think neither is she. So that's what happens. Whereas the people who really they do the daily TikTok videos and do all those kind of things, some of them do extremely well. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So do you like do you do all your projects through ACX, which is Amazon's sort of
Uh,
Audible,
yeah, I
or do
have
you use other
done
avenues?
most of them through that. I've gone through some publishers, like I did one through, oh no, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a well-known publisher. That was a good book. It's about Corrie ten Boom, that
Oh,
many people know
nice.
about her. So it was called In My Father's House. And
Hmm.
they were looking for someone with Dutch who could do the Dutch words. And so the language seems to be the most important thing that sets me apart from other people. So yeah.
Oh, you got a little bit of a leg up there.
Yeah, a little bit. But no, now this book I'm doing is actually going to be a trilogy. So I'm going to be busy for probably 2 years on that. So I'm quite happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long does it take you to do like a chapter or a project?
That's a very, very good question. So we use the 9,300 is what we divide it by. So if you have a 30,000 K book, it
Hmm.
will take you about 3 hours, but that's only the finished hour. So when you start doing the narrating, it could be as many as 9 or 10 hours of work just to do that 1 hour of work. It is incredibly an amount of work you have to do. I would say it takes me about 3 to 4 hours per 1 hour now. So
Hmm.
I first read the entire book. Then I go through the book and I prep the score to underline all the different characters, and I try to come up with character voices and where are the changes in mood and that sort of thing where you have to change. So I do that. And then I start recording the first 15 minutes for ACX so that the author can approve it. And then I start and I'm on a roll, and I'm using. So I would say I listen to the book about at least 3 times, because you record, and of course it's not always perfect. You stumble all the time. So you
Hmm.
edit out all your mistakes. So that's the second time you read it. The third time is when you're really doing, your how shall I say, your mastering and editing and everything. And then I listen another time with the script to make sure I haven't missed a single word. And some publishers are very sticky about exact adherence to the script, but others, the indie ones, are a little bit less so. So if it's good, but there's just maybe a saying somebody instead of someone, they would let it go through and so on. So as you can see, that's why it takes 3 to 4 hours. So if you get paid $100 and you've worked 4 hours, you are getting $25 an hour.
Hmm.
You see, so that's how it works for us narrators. And I think that's interesting for your audience, for your podcast to hear that, because
Yeah,
it's
because they
it's
don't always
it's
see the work behind it, right?
oh my goodness, I think, oh, it's a 4 hour book. She'll take 4 hours to read it. Now, how did you find the time? Do you
I've gotten better, but
Mhm.
I did find like at first, I like to stop as I make mistakes, as I catch myself. And so I'm constantly like stopping and restarting and trying to keep the flow. And then I have to do another pass and another pass at it later. And yeah, it takes a lot of time. So something that's
I don't stop and start from the beginning. I stop. I don't stop. I read that sentence again.
yeah.
And I just cut it out afterwards. So that's what you're doing
Oh,
as
you're
well.
cut it out afterwards. I cut it out like right away if I notice I've
Oh,
made a
yeah,
mistake.
no,
And
no,
then
I
I
think,
start at the beginning of the sentence.
yeah, no, that's, oh, at the beginning of the sentence.
Yeah.
Now, do you know about punch and roll?
No, do teach me that.
Well, I don't like using it because I stand when I record.
Oh,
So
okay.
my MacBook is up there, and no, sorry, my MacBook is down here, and my script is up here. But in order to do punch and roll, you have to sit and see that. So you actually just draw, I've never done it because I don't like it. I just use a clicker. I just say when I make a mistake, and then I find my mistakes
Mm.
afterwards, I easily cut them out. But here you do something on the computer and it takes you back to the beginning of the sentence, and you can just, apparently it's a great time saver. So it's
Oh,
worth taking some lessons in punch and roll.
punch and roll. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to look that
yeah.
up.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
See, I'm learning something new too.
I know, I know. No, it's wonderful. Yeah. So where in Canada are you?
I am in southwestern Ontario. So
Okay.
I lived in between London and Sarnia in a just
Okay.
outside a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you?
I'm in Kelowna,
Oh,
the
Kelowna,
famous
BC.
Kelowna with the wildfires and so on.
Now, did you find with the wildfires that that affected your voice for narrating?
No, no, it didn't. And we actually got into the motorhome and we went camping away in Vernon, so it wasn't too bad.
Mm.
Fortunately, I'm not that, I don't, it doesn't affect me as much as some people. So no, it was a horrible time, but yeah, that's what made Kelowna famous, because this is where we live in West Kelowna. But our house fortunately didn't burn down. But we almost expected it. We took the motor home and took as much as we could. And when we drove back, we didn't know if our house was still standing or not. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yep. Canadian wildfires, not the greatest thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, now do you find, I know that it doesn't necessarily get as cold in BC, but do you find like the heat or the cold affects your voice at all when you're narrating?
It doesn't affect my voice, but it does affect my sound booth. I have to,
Oh,
on my phone, I actually control the air conditioning and the heating. I turn it off, because you don't want
mhm.
that on while you're recording. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't want
that
any
hum.
background voices. It's actually very important. No, I seem to have, maybe because I sing so much, fortunately, I seem to very rarely have problems with my voice. And I
Hmm.
think part of it is the fact that if you sing as well, you get the better practice with the better projection of your voice, using your head voice rather than your chest voice,
Hmm.
which hurts the voice. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's good to know. And I
Can
love
you?
to sing, so that makes kind of
There you
sense.
go. And those
Yeah.
warm-ups that they do when they sing, those are very good for recording as well. Yeah.
Hmm. So do you have like a routine when you get set up for what you're doing?
I would say I usually have two times of the day when I do some recording. I try to pick a time when I know it will be quiet, and I record maybe half an hour or an hour, not very long. I love short chapters, by the way. For
Yes.
authors, oh my goodness, I hate
Right, short chapters.
very, very long chapters, because we do chapter by chapter. And so then I put it on a flash drive, and I bring it to this computer, and I do my editing here using the Audacity, but also using that Isotope RX. And I think they up to RX 10 now.
Hmm.
I still have RX 8, but it works just fine. Although you probably need some help. There's a guy by the name of Don Barnes, Baarns, who is an incredible helper. You can ask him questions, or you can take his course to try and learn how to do it properly. So I have not taken his course, but I have a good chain that I work, with the de-essing and the devoicing, and the mouth click is the biggest one. And you
Hmm.
can even run it through two or three times if you're doing a lot of clicks, and everybody has clicks.
Yeah.
Everybody. So you're supposed to drink a lot of water and drink and eat Granny Smith apples. That's supposed to help with the clicks. So
Oh,
yeah.
it's a good thing I like Granny Smith apples.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yes. And
Yeah.
other people have other little, certain honey and things that they do for their throat, but I seem to be okay on that. So,
Oh,
although
awesome.
it's not always there.
So,
Especially when you record very early in the morning, it's really
yeah,
foggy. Sorry,
yeah.
you were going to
Um,
ask.
so what is your favorite um book that you've done so far?
I would say it's those Sue Hinton books that I liked to do all three of them. There's a little bit of swearing in them, but they are longer books, so maybe 7, 8 hours. Shorter books don't sell as well, apparently, as longer books
Oh,
for some reason. I'm talking about audiobooks because people want to get value for their money.
true.
So they don't want to use their Audible credits to buy a 3 hour book. So they're buying a 5 hour or a 10. I'm doing a 9 hour book right now. But
9 hours.
what,
Wow.
oh, I know, and that's going to take me a couple of months. So what you can do is you can bundle your books, and those sell well. I did
Mm-hmm.
a bundle of cozy mystery books that took place in South Africa, and they sold quite well. I was amazed. I just get all these, these royalties from that book. But of course, that also doesn't take forever. Yeah,
Makes a difference that way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's interesting.
definitely mystery, and I do like the cozy mysteries too. I like clean reads as well. I'm not particularly fond of the swear words. I do not do erotica. I don't
Yeah.
like those. Yeah, that doesn't interest me at all. Yeah, that's what I like about cozy mysteries. Yeah. Or cozy what do they call it? Cottage romance or something like that,
Yes.
or
There's
clean reads.
clean and wholesome romance and
Yeah,
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 there's all sorts of
yeah,
categories in romance. It seems like if there's a word, there's a category.
yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So, for a person who is interested in starting their own narration, what sort of things do you think that they need to prioritize?
Well, first of all, they have to sit in a little room in a closet for 6 hours and read out loud. If they can't do that, forget it, because it's very, really hard to do that. And a lot of people don't realize that's the first thing they should do. But yes, they need to get they need to watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's wonderful, wonderful videos that they can watch to learn more about it. They should have a little support group. As
Mhm.
I do, I have 5 narrators. We meet on a monthly basis, Zoom meetings, and we give each other feedback about our samples and so on. And we have, I think we've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, and how those people have blown, have grown and they're doing so much better after all these years because and coaching, of course.
Yeah.
Coaching is extremely important, and I probably haven't done enough of that, but that is very, very good to get because in the beginning you tend to hit the wrong words, or you're over excited, or you shout too much, or your characters are not distinct enough to tell them apart, and all of those kind of things. So yeah, hope that helps.
Have you ever had like um a problem with an author going back and forth with narrating?
Oh, yes, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you go almost all the way and then they turn around and they say, oh, no, they don't like it anymore. They now want to stop it. Now, that has only happened to me once,
Mhm.
fortunately. Usually everything goes very well. A lot of the 15-minute sample that you do on ACX is very important because that's when your author tells you they're okay, you can go ahead. So if you ever try and find a narrator, you should give them samples to do where they can do the different characters and so on, not just the first 15 minutes of the book, because that might not show you all their skills. So
Yeah.
that would be important. But once that has been approved, you are the producer and you do that book. You make the decisions of what the voices should sound like. So then you get to the end of the book, and maybe the author now decides, oh no, they hate what you did. And so that can happen. Absolutely, it can.
So
But fortunately, yeah.
what happens in that case? Like, does the deal fall through
Yeah,
or?
the deal falls through. They still have to pay you because you already signed the contract. But
Mhm.
you just you both write to ACX and dissolve the contract, ask the contract to be dissolved. So that's the way they handle it. And it seems to work quite well.
And
Yeah.
ACX, they do like, so they handle all your contract back and forth between your writers and narrators mainly.
Yeah, yeah, they do. It's very, just a quickie. It's not
Mhm.
back and forth really. It's a very quick and easy thing to do. But they're very good in their support. If you need support and you write to them, they will do their best to help you. Like the author I'm working right now is not familiar with the platform, and she needs some help on how to find her, the recordings and that sort of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. So it's nice though, knowing that they have that support in the background, so that if you do decide to go in this avenue, there's somebody there who knows what's going on, right, and can help,
Yeah.
versus, some places don't have the customer service.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I remember from my early days is it takes so long. The learning curve is enormous. So you send in your stuff and then ACX comes back. Oh no, you had some noise or somewhere, or the front end and the back end should be very clear. Like you
Mhm.
record your room tone and then you insert that in the beginning and the end. So
Yeah.
that's a very important thing to know for beginners. And also, of course, the whole noise thing. You have to make sure there's no bumps and things happening in the background while you're recording. And if it does, yeah, you have to fix it. And then the pickups, they said that the author would send you a list of pickups, and those are easy to do, except not everybody is skilled enough to match the voice they had then, or they could have a cold or, that's, but I've never had a problem with that one. That's been,
Okay,
not.
so explain what pickups are for the audience.
The pickups are so you've recorded your book, and then, as I said, you maybe used the word somebody instead of someone, or you actually were editing, but you missed a place where you said something twice. That can happen.
Mhm.
That can happen if you don't have that final listen. So the person would listen to it and they would mark the time stamps, I call them. I don't know if that's the right thing. So they say at 3:45 in chapter 1, you said this instead of this. So then you get this whole list from the publisher or from the author, and then you just fix it and send it back. So, it's not a hard thing to do. And publishers always use it, and there are always pickups. I can tell you it is absolutely impossible for the publishers. They use some software. There's a software called Positron
Okay.
that helps you prepare your script, and it also helps you with the pickups and that sort of thing, and even pronunciation. There's a fee for it. I have never used it, but there is some help out there if you want that. So really, it is an enormous learning curve. There's a lot of learning to do, and also, I don't know. I think a lot of people try it out and then maybe they drop out along the way, but it's not as simple as it sounds. Definitely not. No, you don't
Something
just sit and
definitely to
read your book
practice
out
on.
loud. Yeah, yeah. Lots of practice and so on. And lots of coaching and feedback and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the questions I have. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Well, no, I think I would just urge people uh, to try and try out as you did yourself. You can try it out yourself, or at least try the royalty share, because that doesn't cost you a thing, and get some, because there are so many. And if your book looks good, oh, and the cover has to be
Hmm.
appealing, because I've seen some pretty bad covers in my life. So that has to be appealing, because the narrator would just sort of go through all the available books and they say, well, that cover looks nice, especially say they're
Hmm.
into romance and it's a really good little romantic cover. So that has to be good. And with as I said, with royalty share, you're not paying anything out of pocket, and hopefully you're getting a good, and you will get a lot of auditions. Especially if you offer a fee, like this book I just recently did, she got so many auditions, and sometimes hundreds of auditions when you offer a fee. But very important to listen. And I think the other thing is, yeah, giving them a good sample to record. Oh, and the sample shouldn't be too long. because
Yeah.
I mean, the narrator's only going to do 5 minutes of it anyway. So don't give them the whole book as a sample, that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah,
So
well, hopefully that has given you a good. I had no idea how long this was going to be. I thought it was going to be fairly
I think
short.
we've gone over, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
but that's wonderful. I'm glad to meet you, and I wish you a lot of luck in this whole. I think it's a great idea to cross, how to say, germinate all of that, and
Cross
give
promoting and
cross
talking and
cross
learning new things.
everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, and thank you for including a narrator in your podcast.
Awesome. And I'm going to put links to your website and
Mhm.
some graphics from the books and stuff so that people can see them. And so if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they can go through your website and find out more. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Josephine. And good luck to the audience with the future looking into audiobooks.